Hello everyone, so today I want to talk to you about learning English for free. Can it be done? And my answer is yes, it definitely can be done. If you want to have the best results and you don't want to limit yourself, then spending money is very, very helpful because you can get a teacher. However, if you don't want to do that, then there is so much out there that we can do for free. So, for example, YouTube. YouTube is an amazing resource. You're using it right now, of course, and you can find so many people teaching English on YouTube for free, of course, talking about grammar, introducing you to new words, introducing you to different English accents. And when you find a teacher that you like, of course, follow them. Choose them and use them regularly. Learning English and learning any language is about regularity. We need to do some of it every day, and the more, the better, obviously. But the biggest problem is that a lot of students will say, oh, I'll do 2 hours here and then not do English for a week or for 10 days. But what you need to do is say, every day I'm going to do an hour or 2 hours or 10 minutes, whatever it is. As long as you're doing it regularly, you're going to keep improving your English level. So follow lots of English YouTubers, English teachers on YouTube, and find the ones that you really like and then use them and listen to them consistently. You can even listen to a variety of teachers so that you can hear different accents. If there's something you find really difficult, search that in YouTube. I want to learn about the present perfect. Or, what's the difference between this verb and this verb? And then you should be able to find someone teaching you about those specific things you need to learn about. The second thing I would say is the variety of apps there are out there for learning languages. So obviously you have Duolingo and Busuu, there are a variety of different apps. My thing is that a lot of the apps are for beginners, so if you're a beginner they're fantastic, but once you get to an intermediate level, make sure that you're also watching videos and doing other things so you're listening and seeing real English. One app, or two apps, which I really recommend, there are some which allow you to find someone who you can have an exchange, a language exchange with, like HelloTalk and Tandem. Those are two apps. So you can find someone who wants to learn your language and who is English or who speaks English fluently, and then you can have an exchange with them. You can message them, you can send voice messages, or even you can meet up in real life or have a Skype talk. The other app I really highly recommend is called Lingq, L-I-N-G-Q, because it's fantastic for reading. And that brings me to my third tip, reading. Reading is an incredibly valuable thing when you're learning a language. You can find any sort of book anywhere, any newspaper article online, anything on the internet, anything on Instagram. You've got information that you can read everywhere, and reading helps us enlarge our vocabulary and also absorb the grammar rules that are within the reading. And if you're a little bit nervous about taking the next step with speaking with English speakers or speaking to other people in English, then reading is the first thing you can do, because it's still going to help you to enlarge your vocabulary, gain confidence with the language, and improve your grammar. And it's a great way to get involved in a language and to start enjoying it. If you find something that you like to read and that you understand most of it, then it's going to be an enjoyable experience. And when I started learning Italian, even after I'd been learning Italian for a while, I started reading children's books. And although I wouldn't enjoy reading children's books in English, in Italian it was okay because I got so much joy out of understanding them. I understood it, and that was fun, that was exciting. And over time, I started to read more complex books, and then I got to Harry Potter, and then I started reading other things. So also don't worry about reading something that's made for kids. It doesn't really matter. When you're learning a language, all words, all types of words, whether they're for kids or they're for adults, are valuable and important. So start where you feel comfortable, start where you understand the language, and in something that you enjoy, preferably, as well. Now my next one is speaking. Of course we need to speak. If we want to learn a language and we want to start using vocabulary and start communicating, then we need to speak. So if you're scared, then it's okay, because everyone is scared to speak a language. We all get scared, but you have to take the step and just start to communicate. One way is to get a teacher, and that's a good first step. And obviously a teacher is going to help you to improve your grammar, to improve your structure of the language you use, but also find a language partner. Or if you live in a country with native speakers, start to interact in small ways with them. And then English is going to start becoming part of your life. My next tip is get a grammar book. If you like grammar, get a grammar book and study it. Do 1 page a day, 1 page a week. That's going to help you to absorb those rules and to have more confidence as well when you're speaking. I did the same in Italian, and I'm a grammar geek, so for me it was fun. For most people it wouldn't be fun. If it's really an awful thing for you, then don't do it. But if you do enjoy it, even a little bit, then do it, because it will be very helpful. Next thing, so we talked about YouTube. What about podcasts? Podcasts are an amazing tool, because not only do you get to hear language, and podcasts are generally free and they're very long content. You can hear a 40-minute episode. You also get podcasts where there are conversations between people, which can be really important because you can hear how people interact. And when people interact, they start to use more intonation and change the way they speak. They start to use more conversational and informal language, so that can be really important to hear. And don't worry if you don't understand everything, that's okay. Generally, it's best to listen to something where you understand a good amount of it, or you understand more of it, but if you don't understand anything, it can still have value. Over time, your ear will start to get used to it. Your lessons, or your watching of YouTube, your studying of grammar books, your reading, all of these things are going to come together, and you'll notice suddenly one day, wow, I actually understand half of this conversation. So that's another fantastic thing you can do. And one other tip I have for you is vlogs as well. Vlogs. So vlogs, video blogs are really good, and you can find lots of vlogs in English on YouTube, and they're great because people are usually walking around with their camera doing the things they normally do. So you get to see people in their normal lives and in a variety of contexts. And you always have the visual of the camera and the things around those people which help you to give context to the situation. So you can understand, oh, what's happening? I can understand the words because they're related to the context of the situation. And they're also quite fun to watch. They're informal, they're relaxed. So there's something you might put on for 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day just while you're eating your breakfast, especially if you can find a YouTuber that you like. Speaking of that, I'm going to start doing a vlog soon, so I hope that'll be interesting for you, but we'll see. I plan to do it next week. I say that, but I planned to do it last week and that still hasn't happened, so anyway, I hope those tips are useful for you, and I hope you are doing excellently on your English language journey. I'm sure you are. Before I say goodbye to you, I want to remind you to subscribe to my new mailing list, and I'll keep you updated with everything that I do. And that's it. I think my dinner's nearly here. I'm getting takeaway tonight, so have a lovely day, have a lovely evening or a morning, and see you soon. Bye.